Whoa.
Devon alive, what's up?
I've not been teaching in like 4 months. I've forgotten it.
Oh, okay. Let me help you. Welcome back to...
Welcome back to Life at Leftwich. After 4 months, we're finally here with episode 10.
Well, you soon remembered that.
I'm a fast learner. But anyway, we have our first guest of 2021.
We're back after all this time. A long lockdown. And we have an amazing guest for you today. Please welcome Mr. Keenan.
Afternoon.
Today, we have a new segment on the show that we're going to try on this episode on the first time ever to see how it goes.
The reason we did the Christmas special is because so many people said it'd be great if we had the roles reversed and we got asked the questions.
So guests can now get their revenge on us. After the 5th question, aka the mystery question, instead of the dreaded 6th question, our new thing is a reverse question where the guests ask the question after the 5th question they ask them, so it's a mystery to us because we don't know.
That was pretty complicated. I'm pretty scared about this, so we have no idea how it will go down. But good luck, Mr. Keenan, because the order decider is whether we keep this as a regular segment on the show or not.
Okay.
No pressure.
So, let's get right into the questions.
Okay, question 1. We've done our research on you quite a bit, as you know, and you've been given these 4 questions in advance.
Yeah.
We want you to talk through your experience on the BBC show Eggheads.
Okay. It was a long time ago, was the first thing to say. It was immediately before I joined the school. It was very good fun. I used to play for a pub team in a quiz league, and one of the teams decided to enter that programme, Eggheads, which I think is still on the telly as a quiz show. So we had a day and a night down in London, did the programme, which was interesting because it was recorded in the same studio as Top of the Pops, so there was a lot of great musical memories there. And they were a nice bunch of people that we were with. It was lovely, just dead interesting. And I won me round against the lady who'd won £1 million on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, but we didn't win any money subsequently. So it's a story with a sad ending, but it was good fun.
Yeah, good experience.
Absolutely, yeah.
Oh, that's good. How did you do on the show?
Well, in your individual round, you go up against one person, one member of the Eggheads team who are meant to be, I don't know, sort of serious quizzes, professional quizzes or whatever. So the theme happened to be music, so your captain chooses someone to do that, and I was picked to do that, and I won my round. So then you get to go and sit back with your captain, and as many other people as make it back. That's the size of your team. Unfortunately, our other team members weren't as lucky, so it was just me and our captain, and then we failed to beat the remaining Eggheads in that last round. So, mixed feelings there, but a cracking experience.
Well, at least you won your round.
Yeah.
Speaking of music, do you play a musical instrument?
Well, again, you've clearly been doing your research. I like to play musical instruments, similar ones. So I play some guitar, and that makes it relatively easy to learn other similar instruments like the ukulele and the bass guitar and the mandolin, so I like to have a little go on them.
Don't you play, I could be wrong here, don't you play the saxophone?
I do not play the saxophone.
Where have I got the saxophone from?
From the world of wrong stuff, I don't know.
What did you play on what went onto the school's YouTube channel?
Oh, on the Christmas thing,
Yeah.
That was on a ukulele. It's very rarely confused with a saxophone. So a saxophone pub quiz fact, just to combine the themes of the first 2 questions. It was invented by Adolf Sax in Belgium, and it was invented as a military instrument originally. And personally, I don't think it'd be very scary to have a bunch of people coming at you.
With a saxophone?
Yeah, playing some gentle jazz at you or whatever, a bit of Kenny G. No, it wouldn't be very bothersome at all, would it? So, okay. There's your pub quiz fact as well.
Well, thanks for that. I don't know where I got a saxophone from, but let's move on to you with question 3.
How many digits of pi can you recite?
Right.
You have to give us an example for the people watching.
Right. Well, I'd be happier to explain what pi is, because Pi Day is the 14th of this month. So it's always the 14th day of the 3rd month, because that's as close as you can get to pi as a number. So our maths department, because pi is a very, very special number, have always tried to encourage interest in it. And it's a very, very special number. It's one of those amazing numbers that occurs a lot in nature. It's what makes curves curvy, or it defines the curviness of a curve. So it's a wonderful thing, and it's a never-ending series of numbers. So I think someone with very, very little to do has calibrated pi to 22 trillion decimal places.
Wow.
Yeah, well, not so much wow as why, but they have anyway, and it just goes on forever and ever.
Yeah.
So when, I think, 2-3 years ago, the maths department were trying to encourage the students to take an interest in pi, they had a competition to remember it to as many decimal places as possible. I had a go at that for reasons that backfired a wee bit. I wanted to show that anyone, whether they think they've got a good memory or not, can remember things. So it just seems like, and it is, like an illogical series of numbers. There's no way of predicting what will come next. So at the time I learned it, you sort of use stories in your head and ways of making insignificant and irrelevant sequences of things more relevant. So I learned it to 150 decimal places.
Wow.
And I thought that should do, and then I had a little go at it, and one of the students, a lad called Matthew, cracking lad, keen cricketer, all-round good guy, he'd learnt it to 200 decimal places.
200?
So, yeah, so fair play to him. So quite rightly, and by a margin of 50 places, he comfortably won the competition.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm assuming you did the best out of the teachers then? The staff?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the maths department were kind enough. I think Miss Wood gave me some pie-shaped cufflinks as a little prize.
Wow.
Yeah, so that was lovely.
Can you recite some for us?
Probably some, but certainly not 150, because I don't.
Yeah.
Because I don't remember the story that I created to make the numbers memorable and so that they had a sequence to them. But I think, and the maths department will correct me if I'm wrong, it goes something like 3.141, 592, 6535, 8979, 323846, and there's only 22 trillion minus those that I could carry on doing, but I don't know how dull this podcast gets, lads, but I think that's probably dull enough.
Yeah, well, that's more than I can remember, to be totally honest.
I can remember 3.14159, and that's it.
I don't remember that.
I think for the use of it ever, for measuring or whatever, that's more than accurate enough, isn't it? That's why loads of the calculations you do, it'll just say 22/7. Which isn't entirely accurate, but it'll do for using it.
Yeah. Okay, so we move on to the fourth question.
Okay.
So question 4. One thing, this is getting a bit more personal into your career and stuff.
Yeah.
One thing you wish you were told before you started teaching?
I don't know really. I'd twist the question a wee bit. I was very, very lucky when I started teaching. It was a long time ago, 33 years ago in fact. So sadly or otherwise, yes, sadly, I'm the oldest member of teaching staff now. Miss Steele did the dirty on me and went and retired and that, so that made me the oldest member of the teaching staff. But I was very, very lucky that I had two gents in particular who decided they would mentor me when I started out. And they're both still very close personal friends now. So not so much things I wish I'd been told, because I'm more than happy with it. So it's not like there were any hidden surprises. It's a tough job. It's a very, very rewarding job, and that's a nice balance.
Yeah.
It's nice to do something that helps people. And personally, I think it's kind of the only job I would find satisfying. I like people. I like learning. Teaching gives you a chance to work with both.
Yeah, that's a good way of thinking about it, I guess, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a great answer.
Yeah.
Top.
So, would you say it's a job that's rewarding but tough at the same time?
Absolutely that, yeah. But then I would say the fact that it's tough is part of what's rewarding. You take more satisfaction from doing something that's challenging. Personally, I wouldn't be very well suited to things like jobs in business or whatever. I would struggle to care whether, I don't know, if my job was to sell cars, I would struggle to genuinely care whether I'd sold 10 cars or 100 cars. But when you see young people learn and develop, I do care about that, so it's a satisfying job. And yeah, that's difficult because people are complicated. And learning stuff can be difficult. So, but yeah, it's a very, very rewarding job.
I have a question.
Jolly good.
If somebody was looking for a job, would you recommend teaching?
I'd recommend that if you sincerely want to pursue teaching, that you give it a go. That you need to try it, and you'll know. Yeah, you need to be ready for the hard work side of it, and you need to find the things I've just described, the rewarding elements of it. I've never known anyone who's pursued it because they felt it was very well paid or whatever. Teaching pays okay, there's other jobs pay better. But I think you'll know if it's the kind of thing that might suit you, and you should prepare yourself for hard work. But if it's your sort of thing, there's plenty of reward in it as well. And I would guess that, as I said, what's rewarding is, I don't know, helping people improving their learning, improving their understanding, and seeing them develop personally.
Would you say it's a job that requires an aspect of resiliency?
Or dedication?
Yeah.
Probably both. It often gets described. Miss Brandreth, who was prior to Mr. Snelson, who was previously a teacher, he used to talk about it being a vocation and a lifestyle, and that's kind of true. Yeah, so you do need resilience, but again, that's where the pride and the satisfaction comes from. So I don't know how to compare it. Say, decided I would squeeze some reference to Liverpool Football Club into this by some route or other. So I'm going to have a go now. If a magnificent footballer like Mo Salah, if he scored 3 goals, that's sort of an achievement. If he scored them against a team of 7-year-olds, that's not much of an achievement, is it? So what he would feel satisfied is when he scores them in a final against elite defenders or something. So stuff that's harder to do and that bit more challenging, you can take that bit more pride in doing it well, can't you? It's the point I'm trying to make. Or shoehorning in rather, a reference to Liverpool Football Club.
That's a great answer. Good example too. Except Devon wouldn't like the example because he's an Everton fan.
Oh, God love you. Okay.
But
you got a round of applause on Mr. James as well.
Yeah.
Well, now it is the question you've not been prepared for.
Okay.
The mystery question.
Yeah.
The 5th one. So, our question is, if you were a fruit, what would you be?
Right, if I was a fruit.
I love this question.
Well, I'm going to take my time to narrow it down from a range of great fruits, lads. Kumquat gets nominated because it's one of the best fruit names of all fruit names, probably, the kumquat. Yeah, very, very small orange. Very small. There's a lot to be said for a banana, for its all-round versatility. It's one of maybe the only fruit that really belongs on a sandwich.
Banana sandwich.
Yeah, it's a great sandwich.
Yeah, it's quite nice.
And I'm racking my brains now, but I can't think of another fruit. Well, that's debatable. That's whether a tomato's a fruit or not. Anyway, but rather than lapse into the world's worst episode of QI or something, we'll leave that one there. And I wouldn't have a tomato sandwich, but this very week I've had a banana sandwich.
But in a BLT, you have bacon, lettuce and tomato.
Yeah, fair point, well made. Yeah, I'm not saying it's not suitable as a sandwich ingredient, but not as the sole filling of a sandwich. But once you've got a banana in a banana sandwich, job done. That's it.
I think I'll go for a pear.
Yeah? Why? What's your reasoning?
The shape.
The shape? Yeah, fair dues. Lovely shape. And taste-wise?
And it's juicy.
Well, it can be. Yeah.
Sometimes you have to eat it with a napkin.
Crunchy.
It's one or the other.
A tangerine, for the lovely fragrance of them and the association with like the run up to Christmas, because now you can get fruits all year round. Tangerines, I don't know what the difference between a tangerine and a satsuma is, if there's one, but anyway, they used to be very seasonal, so they would come in the shops in the run up to Christmas.
Is that a Chris Dingle?
Do you know what? I've never done that particular in my upbringing. Chris Dingle, we never. I think they'd. I think. Is it? What? I
never really enjoyed it. I was bored.
I don't know what a Chris Tingle is.
In it where you stick a candle in orange and light it, and you sit there like,
yeah.
Now what?
I think they have that at Davenham Church, don't they? But my upbringing, the Chris Dingle wasn't part of it. There's an area of Liverpool called the Dingle. I don't know if that's connected in any way.
Do you know what I'd be?
What?
Pineapple.
Yeah? Why?
Because your hair.
Because of my hair. Yeah, because of my hair.
Okay, can I tell you a pineapple fact, a pineapple science fact?
Go on.
Okay, the reason why pineapple goes well with when you have gammon, you know, if you're in a
Oh, I love that.
yeah, and they offer you, do you want egg or do you want pineapple with your gammon? Smart choice is to go for both because they both work very
That's
well.
what I do.
I do that.
Yeah.
Good. Pineapple has an enzyme in it called protease that helps digest the meat in your gammon.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I never knew that.
Now that's all I'm going to think about when I have
Yeah.
gammon, egg and pineapple.
When restaurants are fully open, just
Yeah.
like, I'll eat one of these and then a bite of that, so it breaks it down.
Yeah,
Okay, so I don't know what I settled on there. I'm going to go for the banana, I think.
The banana.
Yeah.
So banana,
Pear.
pear, pineapple.
Okay.
And the best thing comes in pairs too. That way.
Pairs of two.
Pair of socks. No point wearing one sock.
Okay. So you might, Devon, have you got some spelling issues?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. That's what I was saying. Pairs of two. Now it is time. Neither me or Devon will ask this question. It's the new segment on the show, and you're the first ever person on Life at Lethbridge
Wow.
on episode 10 to ask the reverse question.
Okay.
Take it away.
So the only reverse in the sense that I ask you rather than
Yeah.
the words haven't got to be backwards.
Oh, that could be fun. I would.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it should.
All right. What
Be
a
careful because it's going to have like 5 views. So is he famous?
100 now.
Do what?
Average.
Hey, what? So, right, lads. What I'd genuinely like to ask you is, I suppose it's got different sections too. You take on lockdown so far, the need for it, the year that we're into now. If I remember correctly, it was the 20th of March that the school had to say to its previous cohort of year 11 students, sorry, that's your year done. And obviously we've been through different phases since. So the opinion of each of you on the year we've been through so far, and then what you're perhaps most looking forward to. It gets described as when things are normal again. I'm not sure that normal is exactly the right word, but that date in June the 21st,
Yeah.
longest day of the year, by the way, summer solstice and all that.
Yeah.
What you're most looking forward to in whatever version of normal happens then. So come on, lads, over to you.
Do you want me to go first or you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Time to think.
So, my take on lockdown first. Personally, I'm glad to be back in school, definitely. The home learning was good set up,
Yeah.
but it's definitely better to be back here,
Okay.
even with the one-way system and everything in place.
Yeah.
But I am personally, one thing is cinemas.
Yeah.
Yeah, I missed the cinema a lot.
Right. Okay.
My second thing would be going out with friends as normal and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would probably say they're the two things that I'm looking forward to. And
Okay.
but lockdown, I didn't really mind, like,
Okay.
just staying. I like going out more than anything, but
Yeah.
it wasn't like I can't wait for this to end or anything. Kind of, I'm just going with the flow, to be honest.
Okay.
But yeah, glad to be back in school, if anything.
Right. Well, your attitude's commendable. We've all had to just go with the flow a bit, haven't we? Because I think we could all be forgiven for getting a bit het up or sometimes a bit gloomy about all of this, but I think the best way of dealing with it's just been to roll with it and accept it, hasn't it, really?
I think the one thing that I would say is probably that we're all in the same situation, and that's probably what made me think, not be like, oh, I can't wait for it to finish, because everybody's in the same boat, essentially.
Fair enough. No.
That's not allowed for social distancing.
Hey. Well, it would depend on the length of the boat.
It does.
Yeah.
One end of the Titanic. Actually, no, we better not go in the Titanic.
No.
But,
Not a good choice.
not a good choice of boat. Right, go on, Devon. What's your take on lockdown and what are you looking forward to?
So like in lockdown and that, it was weird because it was different. Like it would be the same routine, and it was dragging a bit, but you have to just get on with it, stay active and all that. Now I'm glad we're back because we're still social distancing, following the rules and everything, but you can still socialise. And I'm looking forward to like going out to, like Tyler said, going to cinemas and that, and then like going to restaurants and just stuffing your face.
Fair enough. Yeah.
I feel like we should go and watch a Marvel film in cinema when lockdown's done. We should go watch a film.
Peppa Pig.
A Marvel film.
Why the cinema particularly? Because I bet you've battered every film on Netflix twice, haven't you?
I don't know. I think the cinema's like. I always say, if somebody says, "Where's your happy place?" I always go to the cinema.
Oh wow.
It's more of like the experience. Anyone can watch a film, but it's more like if you go out, even though it could be the same film, it just seems more enjoyable.
Yeah.
Because the surroundings and that.
Right. And you don't mind paying absurd amounts for dreadful snacks, or do you sneak your own in, or what?
Well, Odeon in town, it's got like an Asda around the corner with pick and mix things.
Oh, it's got to be done, hasn't it?
Stick them in,
done.
and then just like walk in by your side and just try and hide it.
The last film we saw was like last year now, wasn't it? Together was Onward, the Disney film.
Onward.
Yeah.
Is that? Is there like two brothers? And
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I went with my family to see that. That was really good.
Me and Devon went.
Yeah. No, that was good. Okay.
Yeah.
And then everything happened, and then here.
Yeah. Then lockdown, and now we're back on the podcast after a very long time.
Okay.
With a great guest for the first time this year.
Yeah.
Thank you, chaps. Nice talking to you,
Yeah.
as always. Yeah. As it is when I see you around the school. So thanks for asking me.
Yeah. Thanks for coming on to the show.
And this wraps up for the first episode this year.
Yeah. Happy New Year, technically.
Well, it is a new year for listening to this podcast.
That's true.
Happy Chinese New Year relatively recently. That was a couple of weeks back, wasn't it?
Yeah. Happy Chinese New Year. Yeah. See you next time for another guest.
Bye.
Cheers.
Goodbye.
Okay, bye lads.